Do you get shoulder pain when reaching forward, like reaching to grab something out of a cabinet or reaching to grab something out of the back of the fridge? If so, stay tuned. Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Candy, and in this video, I'll share 3 tips to help you reach forward without your shoulder hurting. Now, for the tips to make sense, you first have to understand why your shoulder hurts when reaching forwards in the first place. As you reach out away from your body, the lever arm for shoulder flexion gets farther away from your body or gets longer. When you hold a weight close to your body, there's a short lever arm, which makes it rather easy to do. But as you get farther out away from your body, there's more torque on your shoulder, which creates more stress on your shoulder muscles, particularly the rotator cuff. So the number 1 tip to help if you have shoulder pain when reaching forward is 1, to get as close to the thing you're reaching for as possible, particularly when you're lifting something heavy. Now, that may not always be possible. For example, when you're reaching to grab a gallon of milk from the back of the fridge, you do have to reach out away from your body. So that brings us to the second tip. As you're reaching forward, it's a combination of movement at your shoulder as well as your shoulder blade moving on your trunk. The movement of your shoulder blade moving forwards on your trunk is known as protraction, and you use 2 different sets of muscles to do that. You use your chest muscles, which pull your arm and shoulder blade forward, but also tip your shoulder blade forwards like that. As your shoulder blade tips forward, that brings the arch over top of the shoulder down onto the rotator cuff tendons, where it can potentially pinch the tendons, especially when you're lifting something heavy. So the other muscle that you use to reach forward is called your serratus anterior. It's a serrated muscle that runs from your rib cage underneath the shoulder blade. And it does help protract your shoulder blade as you reach forward, but it also upwardly rotates the shoulder, which prevents you from pinching. And so in order to be able to reach forward more comfortably, it helps to strengthen your serratus anterior. And here's one way that you can do that. You stand facing a wall in somewhat of a push-up position and start with your arms extended. Now, the real part of the movement is going to be just the press out this way. This is called a plus on a push-up. You can do a full push-up going into the wall and then coming out into the plus, going a little bit farther than you normally would and trying to push the wall away. Or if it hurts too much to do a full push-up, you can just start from arms extended and do a plus, plus, plus. And what you should focus on is moving your shoulder blades away from your spine as you're doing this. Now, to make it easier, you just come more upright and closer to the wall. To make it harder, you lean more on the wall and press away to a greater extent. And that helps with that forwards reaching movement or protraction of your shoulder blade as you're reaching forward. Now, the third thing that can cause shoulder pain when you're reaching forward is if you reach with your palm down. And that's the way that many people tend to reach, is reaching to grab something like this. But when you turn your palm down, it also tends to bring your elbow out. And that elbow out position is known as internal rotation. Your shoulder is a ball and socket joint, but the ball isn't a perfectly round ball. There's some bumps on it. And as you move into internal rotation, it rotates one of those bumps, the greater tuberosity, underneath the arch of the shoulder, where it can again pinch your rotator cuff tendons. So as you're reaching forwards, it helps to reach with palm up and particularly elbow in. You can reach with your elbow in and palm in a neutral position or even palm down, but it tends to flow more naturally, reaching palm up, elbow in. So as you're reaching for something, reach with your palm up, and then if you have to grab it, turn your palm after you've already reached out. Now, to practice that, you can do an exercise just doing a forward reaching movement where you start with your elbow at your side, turn it into external rotation of your shoulder, and then reach out with palm up and then come back. Reach out with palm up. Now you're also doing a scapular protraction where your shoulder blade is moving forwards and back at the same time. So practicing that reaching out movement. Now, if that's too painful for you, you can make it easier by turning palm up, reaching just through the portion that you feel comfortable doing. And you'll notice the farther out you go, the higher up your elbow comes, which brings you further into shoulder flexion. So just go through the portion of the movement that feels comfortable, and that makes the exercise easier. To make the exercise harder, just add weight. So do that same palm up reaching movement with a weight in your arm. And you don't have to use a lot of weight when doing this, because again, the farther that weight gets out away from your body, the torque starts getting amplified. And so just a couple pounds will probably do practicing that reaching out movement like that. Hopefully these tips help you to reach forward more comfortably without your shoulder hurting. If you found these tips helpful, hit the share button below this video to share it to your Facebook page. You never know who in your circle of friends may benefit from seeing these tips. And if you have pain when reaching forward, you may also have shoulder pain when reaching above your head or behind your back. And you can find solutions to those two problems in these videos over here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.